Welcome back to the channel. We're going over the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and we had some pretty big stuff announced today. We had inflation numbers coming out to the highest number in almost 20 years, and then we had Fed Barkin say some key things regarding the recession. And we're going to talk about this in a few seconds. Before we get to that, I have to ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing. I'm posting videos every single day, so you get the news as it's coming out, and you're getting all the key points regarding the S&P and the NASDAQ 100, so you can make money in this market every single day. And might I say, it's completely unbiased. So what we're looking at here, we had two key levels here on the NASDAQ, 12,000 and 11,750. And that's really what happened on the day. Now, I had a few comments on the day and people responding, you're going to get the hate mail. You're going to get it every day. And so people were upset because I said yesterday, if CPI comes out negative, and it came out negative, it came out at 9.1 growing from 8.8. I said that you would have some intense downside. And I said most likely would start on the trend of testing new lows. Now, let's get into exactly what I'm looking at. From this level, immediately, this is market. This is actually not market open. This is 7:45 when CPI comes out. You were sitting at roughly 11.95, and then you dropped from 11.95, almost 12,000 roughly, down to 11.5, 11.49. So you dropped almost 500 points on the NASDAQ in under 5 to 7 minutes. Boom, you dropped. By market open, you're right here. If we come back, you can really see you're sitting really, I think you were about like 11, so you're at 11.6, sitting at 11.6. So from that point, you drop 400 points. So let me clarify. From the point of where I said if CPI came out bad, how many points did you drop on the NASDAQ? 400. Now, I'm not trying to cover my trail. There was a few things I was confused with today, but I want to elaborate before we go any further. I said you would get massive downside from bad CPI. You got 400 points of downside, 500 if you consider pre-market. Just want to stop there. Just want to highlight that right there. It's not here to say I'm right, you're wrong, anything like that. It's about making sure people get what I'm saying here, as well as the trading aspect of this as well. From there, what happened? Basically, the rest of the day, you started this continuation to the upside, and you really sat here. Now, where things got interesting was right here. And you got above the 11.7 region. And this is where, again, like I said, things got pretty interesting regarding the overall movement on the day. You came back, you tested 11.7, which you got rejected at right here, came down, came back above. And then as you can see, boom, you get a retest. Pretty strong. 11.7 was a key area for a while. Come back up at 11.75. What is 11.75? It's almost that exact same area that we came and retested on the previous day as well. This was our key range where we were getting a lot of those big dips, right? 11.75. Look here, you get back above it, you start mounting it, making higher lows throughout the day, and at the end of the day, you get a little bit of a dip right here. I'm going to go into my expectations for tomorrow, but I want to cover a little bit more here. So that's where we're at today. People are saying, Tyler, you're wrong, you're mad. Again, I get it. If you're upset, I understand. If you need to unsubscribe, I get it. But chances are, for everyone getting mad, you'll still be here today, you'll be here tomorrow, and you'll keep coming back. But the internet just likes to do what they got to do. But let's highlight some of the stuff that was said. So Fed Barkin came out today and said recession is possible. I think he's probably the first member of the Fed to acknowledge a recession. The first one. And his concerns were valid. I'm concerned whether the United States will have enough financial capacity to fight future downturns. He's completely correct. They cannot pump any more money into this economy. We've talked about this. There's nothing really else to talk about. And he says, nonetheless, he explained that he still sees a path to get inflation under control, even though reaching a soft landing will be really challenging. So soft landing out the window. But you know what? They have a hidden plan. It's like Michael Scott from The Office. They have a plan, 40-day plan, and it's going to come out tomorrow, most likely. So going this as well, the Fed Monitor tool. This gives you, and it's on investing.com. Just Google Fed Monitor tool on investing. It'll pop up, and it basically gives you the percent chance of getting a rate hike or what you're going to get. You have to do the math behind what the previous rate was, just so you know. Now, this is where things got interesting. Yesterday, if you come in and look at this, a full point hike was a 10% chance with a 90% chance of getting a 75 to 50. On today's, what happened? You went from a 10% chance all the way to almost an 80% chance by the end of the day. This started off at roughly I believe it was like 25% after the news came out, and then it rose again all the way to 3/4. Massive. Very low probability of a 50-point hike now. That's where we're at. Just kind of gets worse and worse as you keep looking at this. And I'm not trying to be a big bear. I'm just trying to point out the key facts coming out. This is CPI data. This is where it came out. And then you have PPI coming out tomorrow, 8:30, I believe, Eastern. So 7:30 Central for me here. There we go. This is probably the big part, if you will. So they're anticipating, I want to clarify what this is so you know. CPI is the price. We can go, I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to butcher it for you guys and people roast me. CPI measures the change in the price of goods and services from the perspective of the consumer. Now, when we go to PPI, this is the price of goods sold by manufacturers. Now, you really look at this and you're like, what's the difference in PPI and CPI? And I know this can definitely get confusing when it's kind of like they're saying it in a different way. It is a leading indicator of consumer price inflation, which accounts for the majority of overall inflation. Okay. They're anticipating that this number has not risen. Sorry. They're anticipating it staying the exact same at 0.8. So you see, they were actually expecting it to continue to go up, and then now they're expecting it to stay flat. That's what they're expecting. That's what they see happening. This is what they're overall telling us right now. If this comes out higher, I anticipate downside. However, I'm not going to lie to you. I anticipate downside either way. Why? Let's talk about exactly why. Remember when Powell, and we have to go way back to almost when we were at 13.4 or wherever we were on NASDAQ, but Powell came out and he said at, I believe it was when they had it was like a World Council meeting or something. It was back in, I believe, April. And it was the first time we had mentioned the possibility of a 50-point hike. And when that happened, you started to see massive downside. But before that, you saw some upside, and it's worth mentioning. Today, you saw some upside. What we saw was stalling at this 11.8, 11.85 region. And then from there, I believe you're getting a price in of this full point hike. Now, the kicker here and the icing on the cake here is that you're not seeing a slowdown on inflation. So we saw a 75-point hike, and we still had an increase of inflation. So the fear here, and especially with coming with Powell and the rest of the Fed, is what they're saying in regards to this inflation as well, is they don't really know what to expect, and they don't really know the exact path in front of us. There's a lot of uncertainty. So what we're seeing here, in my opinion, you're getting a little bit of a push up, you're flatlining at this area, and then you started pushing down here in the after hours. I anticipate downside. So people are saying, Tyler, people are commenting. Again, I see all your comments on Twitter. I see all of them. I get them all. See, did I get it wrong? Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, you still dropped massively to the downside. However, I'm going to tell you right now, I still see new lows being made, or at the very minimum, your previous lows being retested around the 11.1 area, maybe 11.2. At minimum, that's what I see. You may not like it, you may disagree with it, but that's personally what I see going on. From a day trader's perspective, what am I looking at here? Now, this, in my opinion, is pretty cookie cutter and pretty clear to see coming out of the gate. Now, you're going to have a little bit of momentum coming out tomorrow, most likely from PPI in either direction. But what am I really looking for? To be bullish and to see and want to trade to the upside confidently, I want to see a reclaim of that 12,000 area. I know you're saying, Tyler, it's kind of a far away. I know. I'm not trying to rush into plays here. Today was a very slow day for me. Very slow trading. I had one win. I want to give a special shout out to the sponsor of this channel and the video, Margex. If you don't know, this is where I trade all of my crypto, and the link will be down below, and you will get a special bonus if you do use promo code Tyler15. I'll go into that here in a second. But you can come in here and you can see this is their platform. It's installed right with TradingView, which is already what I'm using for all my charting. So you can connect that right to this as well. You can use anywhere from 1 to 100x leverage. I do not recommend using 100x. That's absolutely crazy, but you can do that if you really want to. I'm always using 5 between 15x, and that's where I stay for quick scalps. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, EOS, ADA, Sol, and Uni. all available here. My favorite part is when you go to the wallet, you can always transfer your Bitcoin into USDT, so it always stays in cash. So that means if Bitcoin starts to drop, you still are safe because your crypto is in cash. So if your main priority is day trading, that's why I love using them. Now, when you come over here, you're going to click promo code Tyler. If you do not already have an account, this is where you'll go and you'll type Tyler 15, and then you actually start depositing your crypto from here, and that's what will give you the 15% bonus on whatever you deposit, as long as it's over 300. Also, if you just set up an account, then you do that after and you will get it set up. Again, the link will be down below. There's no hidden commissions. You'll know everything as you're getting into it as well. The best thing about this too is if you do limit orders, it will reduce your commissions. And if you sign up using my referral code, you will get less commissions as well. But let's get back to the video. With Citi on the overall short position, and then I had a loss with Boeing shorts. So today I really sat on my hands, just took a day off after lunch and just went to the gym, called it quits. Didn't want nothing to go on, because you can't lose money if you're not throwing money out there. Okay. And that's just the name of the game. Stop taking risk when you don't need to take them. So right now for the downside, as long as we stay below 11.75, I'm anticipating a retest of this 11.4, 11.5 region down here. But ultimately, again, I see massive downside coming across the board. Again, I want to be very clear, I did not establish any positions today for downside. Why? Because you still have PPI, and I just don't know what's going to happen from that based on the last and previous PPI reports. So when I'm coming here, I'm making sure that I'm just overall just sitting on my hands, and I'm trying to practice what I'm preaching to you guys as well. So you are overall respecting this key range, and you're sitting here right now. But again, as long as you're below 11.75, I anticipate a retest of 11.5 to 11.4. You get below 11.4, 11.5 roughly, looking for more shorts down to 11.2, making new lows as well. SPY. I know everyone has questions about SPY. It's your favorite thing in the world to look at. Now, this was kind of the easiest chart to really look at on the day. I showed you this yesterday, your bear pin you were sitting in, you broke down out of today. Obviously, you shot straight down, you gapped down, you came up and retested. But something was funny about this retest. You can see you retested this a handful of times, if you will. So as we come in here, you can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tests, and you continue to break down out of it. Again, my opinion, this is still bearish. These are still things that I'm looking at. Broad spectrum of the market, you're not getting the breakup that you need. Now, as far as indicators that I've been looking at, yields are going down. You kind of came back down in the 10-year. Looking at a dollar, you had a little bit of a drop, not a little bit, a lot. You had a lot of a drop coming out of today, and you're bouncing right back up. But it's worth mentioning, on the broad scale market, you're still at those local highs. But the big thing here was junk bonds, and junk bonds are something that I was watching pretty much all day long. Junk bonds out of the gate, huge tank, immediately rallied back to highs from the previous day. Very interesting to me. That's what kind of put me on tilt when I was looking at the market. I was like, man, we need to step away from the market. No more trades after this going on based on what's happening here. You continue to come back down to that support level, 91.75. Again, we mentioned it yesterday. You're trying to hold it, but you're also holding below the weekly. It's showing weakness in my opinion, but nothing's been confirmed yet. That's why I'm waiting for PPI. Just wait for the data. Nothing bad can happen to you if you're not pushing yourself into the market, taking unnecessary risk. Looking at the overall options chain, I want to show you SPY and QQQ. SPY, heavily in favor still of puts, 2-to-1 ratio. QQQ. This is a little bit interesting. You're almost at a 1.0, but 0.9, so you're still in favor to calls. So it seems like if people are going here, they're betting more on tech and the tech plays, and they're hedging their position with SPY overall. Now, when we go back to VIX, I'm going to show you VIX's overall order flow as well. You can come down here as well. You have the instant pump, and you came right back down to almost where we were yesterday. Again, this is what I'm looking at. Just the key same areas you continue to test and test and test, and you're right back there. So again, I don't think you're out of the woodworks. I don't think you're clearly in a pump scenario, and I don't think you're clearly in a dump scenario. However, I think the fundamentals point to us to getting more significant downside based on fundamentals and based on these rate hikes that are going to be priced in very soon. Again, they're almost pricing in from the Fed a 1-point hike. You've had a 7.5, you had a 50, and now it's a 1-point whole hike. It's very big, and it's definitely blowing out of proportion of what they said they were going to do, showing that anything is on the table, which again, Fed Barkin said today was that a 1-point hike is on the table. Anything and everything to get inflation under control, because right now it is not. So overall, looking at the market, that's what I'm looking at. Key stocks that I'm liking, key setups I'm liking. I posted this on Twitter earlier today. I posted NVIDIA at these highs from that level. If you want to see, you can come back to my overall Twitter. Again, if you're not subscribed on Twitter, I'm posting videos. I'm posting overall stocks I'm liking all day, every day. I literally posted this near a market open when you got to this level, the key level you keep testing. You come back there, you get an instantaneous dump from 153 down to 150.8 locally. Again, then you start trending back up. So I'm giving you and trying to give you free plays as well if you're not in Discord, which that is down below. But like some days in Discord, I'm not going to trade as much. I'll post setups, I'll post things that I like. But if I don't feel confident in the market, I'm not going to post something that I'm not entering. I'm always being transparent with you guys. If I'm losing, I'm going to show you the losers. If I'm winning, I'm going to show you how I'm winning and what I'm doing to put myself in those circumstances to hopefully teach you along the way with me. So that's what I'm looking at there. The last thing I want to talk about is going to be Bookmap and some things going on here with overall volume. Now, all day long, you saw your CVD and your volume pushing up. But what I want to talk about was this morning. And this morning was interesting because you saw heavy selling on the dark pool. You saw a lot, 1,500 here, 1,500 lots. That's a lot of money if you don't know the value of each lot. Coming down here once again, 1,300. Huge orders being sold on the market every time. But then as you progressed, overall dark pool activity decreased. You had a little bit of buys, but then you started seeing your CVD mount and climb back up. The green line right here represents cumulative volume delta, basically buyers versus sellers. You climbed, and at the end of the day, what happened? They all ran out of the market, in my opinion, because they're hedging positions and they don't want to have and be overextended with leverage going into these data points, specifically when you look at what's happening behind the scenes. Talking about this, again, this has to be everyone's main priority. An 80% chance almost of a full point hike. If you really think the market's going to run off this, maybe it does. But why would you want to bet against a full point hike being bearish? In my opinion, there's nothing but downside, and the risk to reward just is not there. So again, what am I looking for? Very clear. You come out tomorrow below 11.75 after PPI data. We are looking for downside. You come out from good PPI data and you start pushing up. I'm still not wanting to enter until you get above 12. I may enter if you get above 11.85. I may. Fingers crossed, might happen. But the big sign of bullish indicators is going to be above 12,000. And again, I just don't think you're going to get there. You've seen 1, 2, almost 3 tests right before CPI data came out. That's what I'm looking at the market. There's no fluff. There's no bias. This is exactly how I'm playing the market right now. And if you really want to look at what's happening here, look at all these stocks as well. All the big caps, all the big names you know. Meta, Facebook. What's happening here? You're just trending and pushing back to lows. Next up, we have Microsoft. Continuous downside pressure. They just announced a deal with Netflix that they're going to be helping them do all their advertisements and getting part of that premium. And look what happened. They're not even pumping up here. Coming back down. Netflix. This is the only good one because I had that news from Microsoft, but it came right back down. Tesla, they just got a price target raised to $1,000 and boom, they're coming back down. So in my opinion, looking here, there's just not that much strength and you're not getting any breakout and you're not really following these indexes as well. Apple should be the most bullish stock on the market because it follows SPY specifically. Still looks like it wants to fall off a cliff. Again, I'm just showing you the market. I'm just showing you the fundamentals. I'm just showing you the technicals and the price action and where buyers are. And in my opinion, the sellers are about to take control.